Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you 9 watercolor tips and tricks that every beginners must learn. First thing first, I'm going to show you how I prepare my watercolor paper. We will use lots of water on our painting. To prevent the paper to get wrinkled, I always tape my paper on a piece of cardboard. Just simply put paper tape around your paper to stick it on a piece of cardboard and create your own watercolor canvas. I always have a photo reference ready by my side. I love using watercolor pencils to make sketch from my painting. The reason is these watercolor pencils get dissolved with water. So you will not see your original sketch anymore once you put watercolor paints on it. In this video, I'm drawing my sketch from scratch just by looking on the photo reference. But if you just want to get on started to learn watercolor, I have uploaded some free sketches for you to download on my website. Just go to www.keishart.com.au. You will find sketches as this flower and many more. It is completely free for you to download. You can print them out directly on your watercolor paper and just get started on your painting. Now for this video, I will show you some special paint brushes that I use. I am actually in the process of producing my own paint brushes. What I love about these paint brushes is it is compact and easy to use when you are traveling. You can pop out the bottom and then use it as a lid. Then it's ready for you to bring everywhere you go. The brushes are very soft and easy to control, and they are fully vegan. It means we don't use any animal product. You can see later on this video how beautifully these brushes work with paints. And I also use just a regular brush. This one is just a round brush, student grade from Staedtler. Because we are going to play with gradation with this flower, I will use 2 types of colors. You can pick any colors you want, but for this painting, I pick pinky orange and yellow. The first tip for you beginners is to add highlights, meaning leave some part of the paper untouched to make highlights. This will be the true white colors as there are no white paint will be used in this painting. So the white part of the paper will just remain white. The second tips for you is to make gradation. Like what I'm doing on this painting, first I apply the first color and then apply the second color next to it while the first color is still wet. This will create very smooth and nice gradation. This method also works when you want to make gradation from dark to light, which means you add the paint on the first part, and then on the second part you either add a lighter color of the paint or just add water. The third tip is to keep the paper towel close by. The paper towel will be very handy when you make mistakes. Like with this one when I applied the yellow color, for example, and I think, oh, I don't like this yellow color. So I just quickly dab it with the paper towel and take all the paints out. You can even also add a bit more water to dissolve the paint before you dab the paper towel. And then you can see the colors will be almost gone. And then you will leave it completely dry before redoing the paint. After you apply the correct paint, you will not see the initial color that you applied before. The fourth tip for you is to add texture. Like for example with what I'm doing with the center of this flower. First I apply the first color and then I will add more pigmented paint. Just quickly dab it all around and make spots. And you can see how the darker paints dissolve and create a little bit of texture. This is how the texture will look like when it's fully dry. The fifth tips for you is to add layers and layers. Watercolor paints are transparent, meaning you will see the first color that you apply on the layers above it. Remember, when the paints are dry, the colors always become lighter than you think they will. So feel free to use pigmented colors and be brave with it, as it will get lighter anyway when it gets fully dry. Watercolor paintings can start with just 2 layers and can be as complex as 5 to 7 layers. It mainly depends on how realistic the paintings that you pursue. You can see here when the second layers are fully dry, the colors get a bit brighter again. So I'm adding a bit more pigmented paints on the third layer on some part of the flower that I decided to be darker. And I would leave the lighter part of the flower so it will create a nice dimension that shapes the flower. Another tip for you is to study the color wheels. I am planning to make a more detailed video about color wheel so you have a better understanding on how to work with colors. The aim of me mixing these flowers is to create a more darker or muted version of these colors. But if you haven't studied color wheels yet, you probably wouldn't think to mix these colors with purple. But it's actually create a beautiful muted colors that will create a nice shadows on this flower. So then I will add some shadows on some part of the flowers. And as you can see, as I add these shadows, I also add even more saturated on some part of the flower. Another tip for you is to add fine details. To add really fine detail, you need to wait until the layers before it is completely dry. And then you will take a small brush, use very pigmented paints, and then start adding the details as if you use a pencil or a pen. Like for this one, I just add some water directly on the paints and then just take some very dense paint. In watercolors, you can work the other way around. It means you can add details and then you can add shading after that fine details is fully dry. Next tip for you is to correct and add when the painting is done. I suggest to wait until the end to see the overall painting to add detail or even to correct some colors. For example, when I finish, I think some of the part of the flowers is not saturated enough, so I simply just add more brighter orange and yellow. And then I also add some darker shadows to add more detail. As you've seen the whole process of this painting, now you probably understand that we do use lots of water for watercolor painting. So the last tip is actually to use a good quality watercolor paper. The paper needs to be at least 300 grams for it not to get destroyed easily or get wrinkled when you put lots of water. And price doesn't lie. So if you buy good quality paper, it makes really big change for your painting result. Choosing the right paper, I think, is more important than choosing the right brush or the right watercolor paints. So yes, paper quality always comes first. And that's it. That's all that I can teach you today. If you follow all these tips that I just shared with you, you will understand more on how watercolor works and improve your painting quality. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you spending time to learn watercolor together with me. If you like to support this channel, please watch more videos or subscribe. It will definitely give me the support that I need to keep making this kind of tutorial videos for you. I'm Keishart. I'm a watercolor artist from Australia. I hope to see you on my next videos.